Hello, everybody, and welcome to Division 5. I'm very sorry it started so late. It's been out of my control, really. It's internet issues, but we seem to be here now for the race, which, let's be honest, is the most important part. And we've got a very, very interesting race on our hands. So, Slayer is leading the championship. With McDutchface in second, I think it is, and it is Passe in third. However, the major thing is any of those three can win the title. However, Slayer is 25 points ahead, so all Slayer has to do today is finish the race in the points, and he will be crowned the champion of Division 5, which I think you can safely say he kind of deserves it. But if he doesn't, I think that makes it a lot more interesting, that's for sure. Because then Passe, if he wins and gets fastest lap, he wins it if McDutchface doesn't win the race himself. If McDutchface and Slayer don't get points, and Passe wins and gets fastest lap, he will win the title on race wins, which I think is safe to say is one of the craziest things we will ever see. That's for sure. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. As honestly, I have no idea what the weather is, how everyone's pace is, or anything. I'm totally confused going into this race. But we've got 17 drivers, which is what you love to see, really, for the last race of the season, especially at the end of the game as well. Many leagues certain wouldn't have this many people. However, MCR did get pole. Slayer, most importantly for him, is in P2. Passe is one of his title challengers in third, and McDutchface also his title rival in fourth. SD5 fifth, Mike sixth, Swift seventh, Cloudy Cloud eighth, Ben Scott ninth, Flip 10th, Ryan, then Connor, Sven, Jasper, Ibo and Emperor Bellon, and round out the grid. So yeah, it's set to be one hell of a race, I think, and we are going to be waiting for Bellon because he's on the hard tyres and driving at ridiculously slow speeds, which is completely ridiculous in my opinion. I think it's safe to say he's doing it on purpose because even the AI wouldn't go this slow. So it's not what you want to see at all, as quite surprisingly, everyone outside the top 10 apart from Emperor, Bellon and Connor have all decided to go softs, which, is fair enough. It's not the biggest of undercuts around here, that's for sure. Because obviously the soft tyres can go pretty much half the race anyway. And the mediums, well, they're not even that much slower, in my opinion, than the softs. However, if there is a safety car, lap 17, lap 18, after all the soft runners have pit, Connor will be in a great position as long as he can keep it clean his first few laps. As now we are raring to go. I can't see the lights, but 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Division 5. Slayer's seemed to have a brilliant start down the inside now, but MCR's managed to keep hold of his position down the inside, and has got quite a big lead already going into the end of this sector. Slayer, then McDutchface, I think. Yeah, McDutchface has managed to get past Passe, which, I mean, it's not really as important as it is as it stands, but it's still quite important for him to be next to Slayer if he can be. Passe now, side by side with ST5, I think, or Ben Scott. I honestly can't tell. He backs out of it, which is the right thing to do, I think. That's for sure, especially lap 1 out of 36. And he's been hit. Ben Scott has hit Passe there. He's gone across the grass, I think. And I think any chance Passe had of winning the championship may have just been wiped out there instantly. Which is a big shame for the Red Bull driver because he joined the season as a reserve, so his original points haven't counted either. So he definitely would well be within the fight if that wasn't the case. However, going on to lap 2, MCR is currently leading the way. Done a nice job so far, and there's a virtual safety car. There we go. I'm not sure exactly what for, but a lot of people are on the pits, which is not surprising, as Ben Scott picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which says it all really about that first lap for Ben Scott. He's had an absolute mare of a start, that's for sure. As it says, Passe's in the lead, even though I'm sure he'd want to be 7 seconds in the lead on the hard tyres. He isn't, unfortunately for him. Going to be a challenge to take those tyres even to the end, I think. But yeah, the main job for MCR and Slayer is just to stay within the limit. There's no reason to push this early on and get close to the Delta. No DRS or anything, so once this racing does get back underway, which it has done just now, we should be... McDutchface is right on the back of Slayer. Now, can he do anything? Obviously, both of them are going to have pretty much full ERS, which they do. So it's unlikely, but will he? Yeah, I think he's backed out of it. There's no point going for a move this early on because they're just going to waste the ERS. So as we head on to lap now, DRS will be enabled. What can Slayer and McDutchface do against MCR, who's had an up and down season? I think Slayer's going for the move right now. He's dived it down the inside and he's got it done. Brilliant move there by the current champion in the Williams. Brilliant move there from the Williams driver, and he's got himself into P1, which is perfect for his race, I think. Because now he can control the rest of the race as it stands. It also stops McDutchface getting through because no matter how close he gets back to MCR, unless he makes a massive mistake MCR, with Slayer's DRS, MCR won't be able to... McDutchface, sorry, even, won't be able to attack. Saying that, he looks extremely close and MCR has made a mistake, so if he's got any chance to make a move, it's going to be now. Look how close he is on the back of him. He's already got the move done. And he is up into P2. So, great move there from the Haas driver, who he's done a lot of those moves this season. And he's gone extremely wide and he's lost it. What is he playing at? He's going to lose positions now to ST5 and maybe even Mike. Can these two capitalise on the move, on the mistake? He didn't need to go that deep into the corner, I think. McDutchface does manage to defend it very well, to be fair to him. As Mike now is side by side with ST5, can he push himself into past him? No, he can't, unfortunately. He's going to do the switchback though, maybe. He thinks better of it, which is the right thing to do in that position, I think. But yeah, again, it's now given Slayer a 1.3 second lead already over MCR, which is bad news for Passe, who's a bit out of it at the minute, and McDutchface, as he's now going to get the move done again on him. MCR. As we climb up this hill, which so many overtakes have been done over the years, it's a great track to drive, I think. Everyone knows this. Also, I personally think much better than Abu Dhabi for a finale. McDutchface does close onto the back of MCR, but will he be able to do anything going through turn 1 and 2? Can he get a good enough exit? He certainly looks close enough. Will he actually go for the move though? He doesn't seem like he is. He's not using the RS, but so he thinks better of it. He's got 30 laps to go. He doesn't have to rush every move he makes. As Swip and Jasper are going side by side, I don't know if that's Swip defending or Jasper attacking. What really is going on, but it seems to me there's just Swip has got the move done on Jasper and has moved himself into P6. As Ibo, he's currently doing a fantastic job for himself in P8, I must say. I think he's said throughout this week that he doesn't have the pace around here, but he's doing a stellar job there in P8. Good points for the Williams driver. As here we go again. McDutchface now. He's got the ERS, he's got the DRS, he's got the straight line speed, and he's got the move done again. Back into P2, the Haas driver, and now he can finally set his sights on his title rival Slayer. It's going to take one hell of a job to get back in with the DRS of Slayer though. He seems up for it today, which is what you love to see really. As looking down the field, is there any other moves going on? Jasper closes up the back of Swip again, but can't seem to get anything done. Cloudy and Passe seem to be near each other, but yeah, again, nothing seems to be happening. So I think the next battle is going to be SD5, Mike and MCR, as they all seem to be forming on this train, as MCR still got 70% DRS, which is surprising considering he's gone a few laps now without DRS and he may go another lap again. Will anyone actually be able to close in this lap? I think everyone's going to settle down this lap by the looks of it. They're going to form a bit of a train, which if you watch Division 1, 2 or 3 or 4, you'll know much about trains in this game. No one likes them, but they're part of the game, so we've got to deal with it. So yeah, one thing I am going to keep an eye out on, the gap anyway, between Emperor, Bellon and the front two, because Emperor and Bellon may have a major part of this who wins this title if they get stuck behind them, simply due to because of I think everyone in Division 5 knows, and everyone that's watching Division 5 knows how defensive they are when trying to keep a position, that's for sure. Jasper seems to be falling off the back of Swip just a bit here, which is not great news at all. He's currently much further ahead of his teammate in their little battle, which they've had continuously this season. So he'd be glad he's winning that, but I'm sure he'd be wanting to close in on Swip and the front five. As SD5 now, he's stayed within the RS very nicely of MCI here, who has lost it on McDutchface over the last lap. So I think he's going to be the next one that's going to want to make this move stick on the Red Bull driver, who seems to be falling very quickly. Doesn't seem to have the race pace, which is very surprising considering he did put it on pole today. Maybe he's just got a qualifying setup and he thought he would be able to defend for the 36 laps. Who knows indeed, as he is right on the back. It's around 4 or 5 tenths usually the gap he wants to overtake someone around this track, especially if they've got no DRS off the driver in front. So will SD5 be looking for a move this lap? Mike's got to make sure he keeps up with them here. Could easily lose track. SD5 has a quick look going into turn 1, but thinks better of him, hoping for a better exit out of turns 1 and 2. He does seem to get that. He's now right on the back. This should be a very simple move for the Alfa Romeo driver. Side by side now, going to the end of sector 1. He's got it done very nicely indeed. Good move from SD5, who puts himself into those podium positions, which is a good way to end the season, I think, that's for sure. as now Mike is going to be the one chasing after MCR, which seems to be the moral of the story after these first 10 laps, as Emperor and Bellon do seem, I don't know if they're, I mean, quite contrast in the RS. Emperor's got pretty much 100% and Bellon's on 0, so which is not going to be fun for Sven as he's coming up to them now, obviously after last week, which he had such a great race in Belgium. He's going to be wanting to try and make that another great result here in Brazil and in the season high, but it unfortunately doesn't look like that at the minute. As Mike seems to be saving up his ERS at the minute for one big attack. He's doing quite well for himself on 70%, which you always want some ERS in the bank if anything happens, I think. But I've been keeping an eye on this gap at the front. It seems to be stabilised at 1.8 seconds. It didn't. At the minute, it looks pretty safe and secure for Slayer. However, one mistake from Slayer could completely change this race, as McDutch Face, his main opposition, is in P2. So he needs to be safe, but he's also got to make sure he's still on it, Slayer. Which I think he is, as Ben Scott picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's not been a good race for the other Alfa Romeo driver. Fortunately, as we get back to this battle for P3, ST5, especially compared to how quickly Slayer and McDutch Face got away, they definitely don't seem to be. He doesn't seem to be running away from MCR like the others, as Mike's now looking for the move. Has he got it done? And side by side, he squeezes. Oh, it's a bit of a squeeze there from Mike, but he does get the job done. I'm sure that'll be looked at by the stewards later on. But it seemed fair enough from me. I think side by side, you're going to have to expect not much room to be given. I think that's what Mike did there. And now he's going to rechase down the Alfa Romeo off ST5. So back to this battle again. However, this time I don't think Mike's going to have DRS off ST5, so I do wonder. He does not, which is massively important, as ST5's pit. That's very early on. He's got a speeding penalty as well. Now that is big. Can MCR and Mike now make the most of this, as he's going to have, I'm guessing he's going to go onto the hard tyres, yes. So ST5's going to the end of the race on those hards, which I think they can easily make that distance, and but he's got a 5-second penalty to his name, which is going to, as long as Mike and MCR can stay within DRS, he's going to lose those positions straight away. Maybe even to Swip as well, actually. No, Swip has 5-6 seconds worth of penalties. I think that's unlikely, but Jasper certainly could be looking at ST5 later on in the race if he can keep it clean. As MCR is going to be looking for the move once again. On Mike. Mike's having to use all his ERS now. He's down to the last little bits to stay ahead of MCR, which next lap, if it stays how it is, I think MCR is just going to cruise past him, unfortunately. As Jasper and Swip seem to be. Can Jasper get the good exit now after this corner and get the move done on the Mercedes driver, which may be very important for his race later on. He cannot. As I must say, Ibo is doing very well for himself in P7. He's driven a good race so far by the sounds of it. He's kept out of the damage, which a lot of people haven't been able to do. As I begin to see this train forming again of two AlphaTauris being in everyone's way. I think that's definitely the word. So we'll have a quick, as Slayer is into the pits. That is very early, I must say, as MCR is too. So I'm going to presume these are going to be taking the mediums to the end. No, it's hards. It's hards for Slayer. Now this is going to be big, and hards for MCR too. If Mike and McDutchface can stay out an extra lap or two on these softs, I certainly think these two may be on for a 1-2 here, because those mediums are going to be so much quicker than those hard tyres. Whereas MCR is 2.5 seconds behind ST5, so the ST5 has got a valid undercut on a very good undercut on MCR. Now with MCR and hards as well, it's going to make his life so much harder to catch up to ST5. As Connor has managed to get past the AlphaTauri train. Can he stay ahead? However, going into this corner, he does seem to do so very nicely indeed, as now Ryan has picked up damage going into the back of one of the AlphaTauris, trying to get involved in the sandwich. He still with damage. Fair play to Ryan. He's managed to keep the move very nicely. Now he's going to try round the outside, and he picks up more damage. It's been a very chaotic middle sector there. As Swip is into the pits, and McDutchface and Mike both carry on, so I think this pretty much confirms to us that they're going for the medium tyres. I'm guessing they're going to be pitting this lap as well, so that's going to be very interesting. As Swip is only 6 seconds behind MCR, and ST5's now got 8 seconds worth of penalties, so that's certainly going to be one to keep an eye on in terms of Jasper, as Jasper also seems to be going for this soft to medium strategy. So I think later in the race it's going to show for sure, as both McDutchface and Mike both continue on again. I think the mediums can take the tyres lap 15, which Jasper, I don't know if he's watching or not, probably not, but he has come in, and I'm going to hopefully guess he's pitting for mediums. He is indeed, so that's going to be a gap to keep the eye on as ST5 and MCR come through. As Passay now is trying to get past Emperor and Bellon and make most of what he can on these hard tyres. He seems to be doing pretty well. He's managed to get himself back into this fight, sort of, for P6/7. Is it just me, or is Jasper way further behind than I thought he would be? He's 8 seconds behind Swip, who he supposedly was battling for position a minute ago. I don't know if something's happened there, but it certainly seems to be the case, as both Mike and McDutchface into the pits now. Where is Slayer? Azebo is in P4. He's doing a stellar job. I think he's going to come into the pits this lap though, unfortunately. He's not. He's going to stay out for it. Azebo trying the zero stop on the softs. I think you got to have some brilliant tyre wear. He's trying to keep ST5 back. He hasn't been able to do that, unfortunately. Now McDutchface he's not lost time, doing 3 laps pretty much extra on those soft tyres to Slayer. Now that is important. Where will Mike come out in all of this? He's also not lost time to MCR, who they both now behind. They are both now behind Ibo. So Ibo's going to be holding a bit of a train up here, I think, this next lap. He has managed to keep up with ST5 pretty well actually, so on those softs as well, they're almost 17 laps old, lap old now. They're going to be dying as MCR's looking round the outside of Ibo, and he's got that move done very nicely indeed, I must say. I don't think the Williams driver expected that, to be fair. As now he's staying out again. Is he doing a drive to tyres explode challenge or something? Because I'm sure he doesn't need to take these tyres this long. He can easily pit onto the mediums now, which Mike is showing. And now, can Mike, speaking of Mike, can he get past MCR and move himself up into P4? He's going to do so with ease, which puts him right on the back now of ST5. So surely Mike and McDutch Face have made the much brighter decision here. I don't see why MCR decided to go hard. He didn't, and Slayer, they didn't need to. They should have, in my opinion, should have stayed out. But if they're more comfortable on this tyre, then I understand it. But McDutch Face is closing at a rapid rate of knots. He's just done a purple mid. So I'm expecting he's going to do a purple lap this lap. Doesn't actually. As Mike now, as Ibo is finally into the pits on those soft tyres. As Mike's already got in DRS of SD5. I mean, he doesn't even need to. He's got 8 seconds worth of penalties. As Jasper continues his charge through the field, which I'm sure he must have made a mistake, because there's no way he should be 8 seconds behind Swift right now. Especially looking at how close McDutch Face and Mike came out to the people they were following just before the pits as well. As Cloudy Cloud is the latest one who has passed the AlphaTauri challenge, which I don't know if they're doing this on purpose or not. They're just that similar on pace. But they both seem to be within it, DRS of each other, and just creating some sort of train. As Mike, yet again, hasn't been able to close up to SD5 the way I thought he would. Whereas McDutch Face is doing it very easily on Slayer, as he's now within the DRS. So I think it's only a matter of time before McDutch Face gets past, but in terms of the race, I'm sure Slayer would have wanted to win the race, but as long as he takes the championship today, I'm sure he'll be wouldn't be bothered by the world if he finished 10th for all he cared, I think. As Sven, on those soft tyres, he's going to surely breeze past these two AlphaTauris. Gets past the first one very easily, and obviously, and next up he'll have Emperor, which should be such an easy challenge because they're on 19 lap old hards. They're not going to be the nicest of tyres to drive on anymore. As McDutch Face is very close now to Slayer. I'm not sure if he'll get the move on this lap or not, but it certainly looks like he's going for it. But he can't get it done. Oh, can he actually? Never mind. I spoke too early. As McDutch Face picks up a penalty as well now. But more importantly for McDutch Face, he's got that move done on Slayer. Slayer's got no ERS now left to play with either. McDutch Face just needs to get out of this 1 second DRS as fast as he can. He's also got to hope that Mike starts to, first of all overtakes SD5 and then starts to close in the gap on Slayer. Because Mike could easily be on for a P2 here. McDutch Face, in terms of the championship, he's doing all of that he can. He can't do much else than just sit here in first and hope for the best, unfortunately for him. He could try a Nico Rosberg strategy and try and back... No, not Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton strategy at Abu Dhabi and try and back the pack up, but the pack's so spread out right now, it's going to be almost impossible to do that just because of how far everyone is behind. There's Mike yet again, he can't get past this Alfa Romeo. Seems to be really struggling here. I don't know if he's getting bad exits or what, but it's costing him dear time in this. Because I think it shows with McDutch Face. He is going to have the pace over these hard runners at the moment. Because the hards will come back to SD5 and MCR at the end of the race. So if he needs to get a move done, he needs to get it done now. He's losing time, if anything, to SD5, which is not what you want, really. So I'm trying to find a battle, but I just can't see one at the minute, unfortunately. I think MCR at the minute is stuck in this little train that there is. He can't do anything about it because he's third man in the train, and he just will not be able to overtake Mike even if he wanted to at this moment. And so he's almost waiting for Mike to get the move on SD5. But apart from that, no one's really near each other. Everyone's sort of spread out at their own little pace at the minute, which, I mean, it's been sort of the story of D5 this season. We've got, in qualifying, everyone seems to be a lot closer, and then it's just race pace that seems to let a few people down, unfortunately. Can Mike get the move done this time? Stay still 6 attempts back out. He's trying to get the move done. He's using all his ERS. He just can't get close enough. Can he do anything now? He's got the better exit on SD5. He's going to have ERS. He's going to have the DRS. This is his best chance to make the move. SD5 goes defensive. But Mike sails around the outside. It's not like, it's just look like he's took the racing line there. It's a great move done from the Ferrari driver, who finally gets his move done on SD5 and almost gives MCR the opportunity to have a go at him as well. I'm sure MCR is going to be wanting to get this done, even if he's got, even on net position, he's P4. He's going to want to stay with Mike, I think, now. MCR is going to want that P3. As McDutch Face does get the fastest lap, which, I mean, if anything, to Slayer, that's good news for him because he will win the championship by a singular point. However, it's not really, he can't really do much else right now. As these camera angles they're giving us on the direct cam, by the way, are shocking today. This Mike needs to try and gap everyone as much as he can right now. As MCR is looking for the move, but thinks better of it going into this corner, unfortunately. Unfortunate for us, to be fair. As Bellon has got a penalty for speeding into the pit lane, and Flip has left the session, I think. I think he's just had enough, unfortunately, for the Racing Point driver. So yet again, we're going to have this little freeway battle that everyone's going to close up on each other at this part of the track, and then by the end of it'll be the same again. which is unfortunate. Obviously, I think everyone would much rather see overtaking consistently everywhere, but it doesn't seem to be the case. But however, saying that, SD5's got a run on Mike. Can he get the move done? He's going to use all his ERS in the process, but he's certainly got the move done. He's gone back into P3. Brilliant move there from the Alfa Romeo driver. And now Mike's going to be looking around the outside. He thinks better of it. And SD5 regains P3 for now. So he's done a stellar job today, SD5. I think without that 5-second penalty, he'd be right in it, that's for sure. But at the minute, you just can't see Mike or MCR getting 8 seconds worth of penalties, which, looking at it, it may be enough to promote Swip into P5 as well if he continues at this pace. Yet again, we're going to have everyone container up into this section of the track. And Mike's got a brilliant exit, I think. And he's already got the move done on SD5. Now, if I was MCR, I'd be looking at this chance to get past, which he is. Without ERS as well, he's managed to. He's side by side now with the Alpha. Can he stay wide? He's not. His SD5's into the wall. And that is damage, and I think that is his race over in some words now, unfortunately. He's tried to keep it going on the AstroTurf, which is obviously not what you want to be doing at all. And it's cost him dearly, which is unfortunate to see because he was on for, I think, at least P4 or P5 today. It's an awful way to end the season. You really want to end the season on a win or as much points as you can, just to give you that little push into the next season. However, that won't be the case. I don't think we have enough laps left, as the gap is 8 seconds between Mike and Slayer, but that gap is closed 3 seconds since Mike overtook SD5 a few laps ago. With Slayer having that penalty, if Mike and MCR can keep it clean, they could be on for a P2 here, as McDutch Face has seemingly ran away with it so far. He's got a 5-second gap now to Slayer, which it's been quite unheard of this season. So yeah, I think if I was MCR or Mike now, I'll be just wanting to keep it together, not battle as much, and just see if we can get close to Slayer. If they can't, then fair enough. MCR can go for the move. I think he's going to anyway, to be honest. He's that close, he should get the move done even without any help, especially with Mike being on such little ERS. MCR is going to look around the outside. He's going to try and get the switchback and better line now into turn 2 and 3. What do you think of getting a move done here? He's certainly close enough to. Down the inside, the Red Bull and Ferrari driver. Hopefully it's a bit like this in Monaco tomorrow. But he gets the move done, does the Red Bull driver, and he's got his P3 back, which after his pole lap time, I was very impressed with his pole lap time. So clearly has the pace in the car. Maybe he's just weren't working with the softs. However, he's going to have Mike come right back at him now, though, unfortunately. I think this is what we want for the last 7 laps. I personally do anyway. So here we go again, I think. The gap's a bit further, a bit bigger this time, that's for sure. MCR's got the ERS advantage as well, but the ERS is so powerful when it's just a 1v1. And as long as Mike can get a good exit out of here, which he seems to have done, he can if he wants to go for it, he can. I think Mike's going to start. I think he's saving up his ERS for one big attack by the looks of it. As trying to find another battle to watch, but there really isn't one at the minute, which is unfortunate. As Passe has got part of the thing he needs to win the race, as ST5 quickly beats that a few minutes later, which I think sums up Passe's race, to be fair. Unfortunately for him, he's quite an outsider, I think, going into it anyway, being 26 points off, but he'd at least wanted to have been up there, which unfortunately for him he isn't. As yet again we're going to see Mike slowly close up to the back of MCR. As MCR does cut that corner there, I'm sure that'll be a warning, but it seems to me that Mike's not using his ERS to get the move done at the minute. He's thinking better of it, which is a clever thing to do. He's just got to time the move he makes on MCR at the right time, otherwise he could slip too far back, because MCR's not really using ERS either. Obviously neither of these drivers having penalties, so it's going to be a all-out scrap for the last place on the podium for the last race of Season 5 in LOE. Quite poetic, really. As Mike's obviously, I think if you watched Division 5 this season, you know he's not had the best of luck at all. He's going to be wanting to rectify that, I think, because he knows he has the pace. I think everyone in League of Europe knows he has the pace to be up here fighting the likes of MCR, Slayer, Mugdruch Face every week. But he hasn't been able to, unfortunately, and he seems to be dropping off the back of MCR quite a bit at the minute, so he may have to use some of this ERS to keep up with him. Otherwise he's going to lose that opportunity to overtake at all, altogether even. As he's within 6 temps, so he should be able to keep, as long as he can keep the clean middle sector, he should be able to stay close to MCR. However, he's got to get that move done soon, I think. Now he's saving up ERS. As I'll have a quick look at penalties. Seemingly everyone has got one apart from Passe, and both the Red Bulls and Mike and Mugdruch Face, so which is quite surprising really, because there's only 1 or 2 tracks where you can't, where you can get warnings really. So it is quite surprising, and Mike has now fell out of the DRS, which is not what he's wanting at all. I think he's had to burn all his DRS to get back in the DRS, which is not ideal at all, that's for sure. But he has got back within DRS, so he'll pick it up again along this straight, but he's running out of laps now, as these hards are going to be feeling pretty perfect, I think, in terms of wear, whereas those mediums are definitely going to be a bit dodgy, to say the least, going into these last few laps. We'll see if Mike can keep up again through this sector, as obviously there is no other battle on track apart from the 2 AlphaTauris, which they've been with that gap the entire race, but not produced any battles, unfortunately. As I will have a quick look on them, as I think I say that and he's going to get the move done. As I say, they've not battled or raced. Emperor does get the move done on Bellon and makes his way into P13, which still is out of the points, which not what you want, unfortunately, but why do they keep giving us this camera angle? There we go. These two AlphaTauris obviously battling. They've got nothing to lose now. They may as well go for it. As I have missed my getting past MCR, I think That's just typical of me. Watch one battle and the other one gets the move done as well. So, on to lap. It's going to be the penultimate lap now for McDutchface. He's, ever since he went on those medium tyres, he's controlled the race. He's looked never in doubt. As I say, that is MCR now with way more ERS. He should cruise. He doesn't even need to use the ERS to get past Mike here. I don't think DRS should be enough alone. Which it is, and he heads back into P3. Actually, no, so side by side. Can Mike do anything now onto this second DRS straight? He's obviously going to regain the DRS, which is quite convenient really for MCR. He could have waited to get the move done. He's going to go for it. And he's going to get the move done, the Ferrari driver. So obviously we'd all want to be seeing that tomorrow. If you've watched quality, you'll know what I mean. But yeah. Mike regains P3, going on to the last lap, which may be a costly decision actually, as MCR is going to absolutely rinse his ERS going on to this last lap now. As we do head on to the final lap for the front two, as MCR, look how he's going to have to get the move. He's almost going to be forced into getting the move done on this first straight, which is going to happen again. Yep, he's got the move done, but Mike's managed to defend it actually. He's been really late on the brakes there, the Ferrari driver, but now he's put himself in a bad spot as MCR is going to have the DRS going down this straight. He doesn't manage to do anything. Are we going to see a photo? I think we're going to see a photo finish here. I think we're going to ride on board with McDutchface though, as obviously he's came in needing a win today to win the title. He's got that, but with obviously Slayer being 12 seconds back in second, he will not get the title. But I think nothing takes away that drive he's done today. He started further back around 4th or 5th, I can't exactly remember, but he's the second he got past him. He got every move done that he needed to, and he's got the race win. However, Slayer, he's driven faultlessly throughout the times this season. He looked unstoppable, and I think it's a well-deserved title. And he will be a D5 champion, which I think you love to see, really. He's, like I said, and MCR didn't manage to get Mike it, unfortunately for him. And Mike does pick up, I think that may be his first podium of the season, if I'm right in saying so. I think it's going to be a very happy second and third place on the podium. McDutchface, I don't think he could have done much else, unfortunately, but huge congrats again to Slayer. It's been a joy watching him commentate over him this season. At some points, obviously, he's had to overtake when he's needed to, but most of the times he's just been way quicker than the rest of the field, and it's just been a class drive overall, really. So huge congrats to him on the title. McDutchface, commiserations obviously, but congrats on your win. And Passay, I think if he had a few more races or attended a few more, it would have been a lot closer fight, that's for sure. Jasper gets driver of the day. Honestly, I don't know where anyone qualified, but I'm going to have to give, I think, driver of the day to McDutchface. I think he started 5th or 6th, around about that, and got the win by quite a margin, almost a pit stop in the end, which says it all, really. So yeah, that is the end of the Season 5 in League of Europe. I think there'll be no more, I'm right in saying this, there'll be no more seasons this game. However, with the new game in July, which looks very nice, I do have to say, from the few images they've released, which is a bit disappointing, but yeah. Either way, we'll be back for Season 6 by then, so I'll quickly run through the grid. McDutchface starting 4th with the win. Slayer, P2. Either Mike in the Ferrari for the last time this season in P3, MCR P4, Swip in P5, Passay, great recovery in the end after lap 1 to get P6. Jasper P7, Connor P8, SD5 9th, Sven 10th, Ibo 11th with some points to round off his season, Raya Balshaw, last point scorer in P12, Cloudy Cloud 13th, Emperor 14th, Bedon 15th, Flip 16th, and Ben Scott 17th. I don't think they ended up finishing the race. Well, actually, no, they did. Just a lap or two down. So that is it for this season. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching. Sorry the streams have been a bit dodgy at times, to say the least. Can't help it today with internet and whatnot, but yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating over D5, especially, and it's with my first season as well. I couldn't have asked for a better group of drivers to commentate on. So huge congrats to all of them for finishing the season so strongly, with such strong numbers as well. F2 will be on Monday, if I'm right in the saying, so look forward to that. And obviously we've got ACC still going on, which is very fun to drive. I'm starting racing there personally this weekend, hopefully, which will be interesting for sure. However, that is it from me. Obviously, Maverick's been commentating most of the season with me, and Mark as well, also known as Old School, but they're not there today here, unfortunately. So yeah, that is it. I hope you've all enjoyed watching, and hopefully I'll see you some point next season. Goodbye.